I am in an excellent mood. I am in an excellent mood because I'm here to tell you all about the CANTON Vento 836.2 stand mount speaker. Now, well, before I go any further, I have to say CANTON is back in the USA. They haven't been here in North America for a very long time, but they're back. And best of all, I get to review this speaker, the 836.2. And you know, how can I put this? It looks very normal, a normal high-end stand mount speaker. But it's not. It's not normal. It's not the regular course. For example, the cabinet. Now, most cabinets are small box speakers. They're usually CNC machined MDF, medium density fiberboard. That would describe probably at least 90% of all small speakers use MDF construction. 836.2 does not. It is actually built up from a multi-layer laminated design. Oh, and by the way, these speakers, the complete speakers, are made in the CANTON factory in Germany. It's a German company founded in 1972. It's a family-owned business. It started as a family-owned business, and still the same family owns the company. That's pretty special. And CANTON is a big company. They're the third largest speaker manufacturer in Europe. So they're the real deal. And to think that while so many companies are outsourcing so much of their products, manufacturing their products, CANTON is holding steady and building the cabinet, the drivers, the crossover, painting the cabinet entirely in-house in their factories. The paint job, by the way, I have this high gloss white. They also come in high gloss black. It's an 8-stage paint job, lacquer, polishing, finishing, really beautifully done. So then let's look at the tweeter. The tweeter is set in a nice waveguide, shallow waveguide. And in this range, you usually find an aluminum dome tweeter or a soft dome tweeter, but not in the 836.2. It's a ceramic tweeter. I don't see too many ceramic tweeters in speakers like this. I just don't. And when you listen to it, you can hear the difference, absolutely. But then there's the mid woofer, 6.8 inches in diameter. Looks like a typical aluminum woofer. It doesn't look much like a woven Kevlar woofer because it's not. It's not a paper woofer. It is a dual layer titanium woofer. Well, mid woofer. Really? Again, not the usual course, not the regular course, not at all. Round back, things are more normal, right? There's a small port, nice set of binding posts, nothing fancy about the binding posts. That's like the least cool part of the speaker is the binding posts are pretty basic. Nice, functional, definitely, but not special. That's the only non-special part of the speaker. The impedance, by the way, is rated at 8 ohms, though it does dip down to 4 ohms. So I would advise using it with an amplifier that's capable, happy driving 4 ohm loads. And I'll list all the specs. I'll just put up the specs right here on the screen, and you can examine those at your leisure. Now, when I ran test tones through the speaker, I was surprised. It was pretty solid, pretty secure, going down to about 40 hertz. Now, it wasn't just that it went down lower than I expected. It was the quality of the bass that really surprised me. It's fast. It is a really, really, really fast driver. High definition, agile, nimble, whatever words you want to use, this driver just is not sloppy, or put it that way. This thing can keep up with quick bass transients. For electronics, I used 2 different sets of amplifiers. One was the Gato Amp 150 integrated amplifier, and also a past Labs XA100, which is a headphone amp that I was using as a preamp with a first Wat F8 power amp. And the differences between those 2 sets of electronics were very, very obvious. If you think all amplifiers sound the same, You should listen to your amplifiers over a speaker as capable as the 836.2. For a DAC, I was using my faithful Denafreb's Aries, which is not an Aries 2, it's an Aries, and an Oppo Blu-ray player. And I always forget the model number of that Blu-ray player, but I'll put it up on the screen right now. Anyway, the sound was vivid. This is a vivid sounding speaker. This is not a retiring, laid-back speaker. And in fact, I managed to compare it against one that is exactly the opposite, the Graham Chartwell LS6. Very British, very polite, very reserved sounding speaker. So they were kind of going in opposite directions. If I had to come up with a one-word description for the sound of the 836.2, it would be pure. But if I was then allowed to use other words, I would add clean, fast, detailed, open, but pure. That's the word that best sums up what this speaker does. I was in an Eno mood. I'm in an Eno mood a lot of the time, but I was using this one, Music for Installations. It's a box set, and it is very pure and very open and ethereal, and the music just floats. It fills the room. It's not an ambient recording. This is music for installations. They are site specific. But anyway, here at this site, in my listening room, in the south wing over there, the sound just floated. It filled the space. And it was very clear, very focused. The imaging is very specific, very precise, a good sense of depth. Yeah, you know, and the speaker was not that far out into the room. It was about 14 inches away from the wall behind it. And still, I had a nice sense of depth and just spatiality, because Eno just does that so well. So, you know, after Eno, the chill of Eno, I wanted to push them around. I wanted to push those titanium drivers. I wanted to push the pedal to the metal, so to speak. And I pulled out the dub revolutionaries. This is Sly and Robbie. This is reggae music, dub music. And you know what? The texture of the bass, it rippled. It had body. But it had this pulsing quality that I never really heard before. Pulsing is not the right word, but it just had texture and nuance that is rarely heard in dub recordings. Dub recordings tend to sound kind of thick and, you know, muscular, but not this kind of detail and pitch definition that I was getting out of these speakers. It was really, really impressive. So yeah, they look kind of two-way stand-mount speaker. But a stand-mount speaker like this that can do that kind of low-end authority down to 40 hertz in this room or so, but still maintain that kind of grip on the sound, that's what got my juices flowing, definitely. So after the dub, I wanted to go higher. I wanted something ethereal. I wanted something pure and just heavenly. And this one, On Behalf of Nature, Meredith Monk, this is an incredible recording because it's so, it does what the speaker does. It's so pure and present and just expansive. And those voices, I think it's all her voices, just multi-track, but they just soar. And I was really in awe of what was going on, what was going down with Meredith Monk and these speakers. So then I decided I needed some contrast here. And what is it I'm hearing? I want to get a fix on it. This was with the Gato Amp 150, by the way. So I put the 836s aside, and I pulled out the Graham Chartwell LS6, and I popped them on the stands, and then the sound changed. The mood changed. Because replacing that purity of the 836.2, the LS6 had warmth and body and richness and soul. That ultimate transparency was shelved back a few steps and just filled out with body and just a more human sound. I'll put it that way. There was more dimensionality to the sound with the LS6. But the LS6 was nowhere as transparent as the 836.2. So I'm sitting here scratching my head thinking, I need to change things up again. So I put aside the Legato Amp 150 and I put in service the Pass preamp / first Wat F8 power amp. And then an amazing thing happened. That the 836.2 now had some of that body, that soul, that warmth that I was getting from the LS6. But it still had that soaring, ethereal, beautiful quality. So it really was, when you say I want to split the difference between A and B, I was splitting the difference between A and B. And I've never actually achieved something as going exactly where I wanted it to go. Like, I want some of that, but I also want that. And here it is. I got both from the 836.2 with the Pass Labs HPA1 and the first Wat F8. Now, I'm not expecting you to duplicate these combinations. What I'm pointing out here is that the speaker is a portal, and it's letting me hear what's coming, what's feeding it. And if you can navigate that sound and make it sound the way you want it to, that's incredible. That really, really is. So then I went back to the Gato Amp 150, and I played this one, Robert Plant, Alison Krauss, Raising Sand. Huge selling record. Great record for music. The sound, it's not really me. But the thing is, the sound is usually bloated. There's this thick, massive bottom end. The mid-range is kind of grainy and opaque. It's not an audiophile recording. A lot of people love it. I'm not really sure why, and I played it on a lot of speakers. But today, with the 836.2, well, first of all, the bass did tighten up. It wasn't as thuddy and bloated as it usually is. It definitely was rocking. It had some, I couldn't understand what was going on down there a bit better. But those voices, those beautiful voices, those harmonies, just had that grain, just that, I don't even know what was going down. This was produced by T-Bone Burnett, who rode this pony for a long time. But those voices just have this grit to them, this haze, this fuzz that I find just, what was going on? What was he doing, T-Bone? Don't know. But anyway, so I'm playing this over the Gato Amp 150, and I'm hearing this. I'm saying, well, the bass is way better. But then I switched over back to the Pass Labs first Wat combination. The bass loosened up, but the graininess of those vocals was reduced. So it was, I was bouncing. I was bouncing around between speakers and electronics, trying to figure this all out. So please don't misunderstand where I'm coming from. I'm not putting down the speaker. I'm just describing what's going on. I'm basically saying the speaker is a portal. It's telling you what's going downriver. Is that what it is? Downriver from the speaker itself, the electronics and the recording that we're listening to at any given time. I referred to the Doors' Soft Parade album like a month or so ago. And it was sitting there, still in the pile, and I played it again. And man, oh man, Jim Morrison sounded like he was having a great time making this record. And he didn't really on the others. He's a great singer. I think one of the best rock singers ever. But in this record, he has a lighter tone to his voice. He's just going for it. A song like Touch Me. He's in it. He is so in it. And hearing it over the Gato 150 and the 836.2, he was there. He was in the room and just feeling it. I could practically see him with his headphones and just leaning into the mic and wailing his guts out. He really was. He was in a really good mood making this record. So that's what I got from the Gato and the 150. Then I switched back to the Pass first Wat combination, And it filled him out. This was maybe the beginning of the kind of chunky Jim Morrison, right? He was already kind of probably fat at this point. A happy Jim Morrison, very happy Jim Morrison. So yeah, I was having fun. That's it. That's it. That's the highest compliment a reviewer can say about anything, right? I was having a good time. Just like Jim. My name is Steve Guttenberg. This continues to be the Audiophiliac Daily Show. If you like what I do here, please consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. All it takes is just hit that button right down there. And when you do, hit the bell so you'll be notified every time there's an amazing new episode. But then I would quickly add, check out the Patreon, which can be found at patreon.com/audiophiliac. There is a link to that in the description. But then I have so much more for you. I just give. I have so many more speaker reviews. I have a playlist. I'll point to it right there. And I don't know, 108, something like that, speaker reviews. I also have electronics reviews. I have music reviews and headphone reviews. All here, all on those playlists. Plus, plus interviews. So many interviews. Yeah, that's it. My work here is at last complete. So thank you for watching this far into this rather long one. And I really hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.